What is up, fellow benchwarmers? Welcome to your daily fantasy. Hey guys, what's up? It's going to be a quickie for today. My name is JJT with commish Eric. Commish CP3 returned today to a lot of surprise managers, I guess. I'm not sure if it's a surprise, but we never really expected him to return as early as today's game.
One of my friends did tell me that it is a hand injury. So as we were all saying that hand injuries usually, like Caruso and the others who get thumb or hand injuries, they usually come back early. And then when they come back, they usually are in good shape because they get
conditioning.
So I think that's a lesson for us, looking at the injuries next time. If it's a hand, if it's a knee, if it's a Achilles or whatever injury, then we'll be more concerned. But with hand injuries, if it's healed, it's usually okay. Aside from CP3, another player with hand injury is OG, right?
Yeah, so returned as well.
Yeah. So I guess that's the common theme there. These injuries are the hand injuries.
And both players played pretty well. CP3 didn't seem to miss a beat. Was able to 13 assists today?
15 points, 13 assists, I think, a steal and a block.
Yeah.
And
if you were able to pick him up, then you have another game with him this week. And then so I'm pretty sure if you're still in it, he is going to be a game changer.
Yes,
next week for sure. I mean, this is a big pickup
for next week. Definitely for next week, it's gonna be a big pickup. For this week, if you're able to use him now, and then the last day of the week he has a game, that's gonna be a big pickup also. Because as in our league, the manager who picked him up wasn't able to use him today because he didn't.
I've been complaining about daily tomorrow settings, so today I will not complain because somehow I benefited from it because it was daily tomorrow, so he was not able to play Chris Paul. Unfortunately for Commish, though, the manager who picked up Chris Paul was able to play
JC.
JC was able to play Chris Paul. Like, JC's team is loaded. Really loaded.
I did, when I woke up early. I woke up before 6, around 5 something Philippine time. But when I saw the news, I already knew that he got CP3 because he's in the US, so he definitely will be on top of the news, right? He's not it's not the nighttime, so that's how it goes. But it's a mistake for the manager in our league, not in a daily tomorrow, to not be able to activate him. Usually, when you pick up somebody in a level of CP3, you would try to have the flexibility at least of being able to.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah, but still a mistake for me. He should have.
He should have dropped Winslow because he had Winslow in his roster.
Yep.
He should have dropped him yesterday, knowing that he is game time, and he is not a big, a must-own player anyway. It was the same problem I had with Jimmy Butler on the first day, that I did not play Jimmy Butler only because I thought that he was not going to play. It's the same thing.
Just to add here, I think one thing I will change next year in a setting, instead of the daily today, daily tomorrow thing is still up for debate, but the IL plus and IL, because in our league, it's an IL and IL plus.
Yeah.
Right. I think in the invitationals it's 2 IL plus.
2 IL plus. Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes a difference also. That makes a difference because even if you have an IL and IL plus, Yahoo's designation of an injured player takes time. Like
takes
Brogdon,
3 games, I think, out.
Actually, sometimes more. Like Brogdon today didn't play. That's the time they put an injured tag on him. So that affects teams with only 1 IL plus. So I think given this, we adjust, we learn. I really believe that if you're gonna put 2 IL slots, then make it 2 IL plus slots.
Yeah, I think that's another realization as well this year. I think the 2IL plus is really not too big of a I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, I think the IL is a useless roster already.
Yes.
It's like you just do go with IL plus. Though of course, it's going to be a challenge having the IL and the IL plus that like our settings because of
Yes.
one slot is an IL only, so you don't just put anyone there. Of course, everyone's on the same playing field anyway, so it's just maybe for next season that we can change it to that IL plus.
You can say same playing field, but you can say different situations. Like if you have 4 players who are questionable in a playoff setting, so it's kind of hard to bounce back and it demoralizes you. So I think having 2IL plus, you're correct. At this point of the playoffs, if you're in the semis, even quarters or the finals, what is an IL for really? You're not stashing Zion or MPJ or Jamal or Isaac or whoever, Kawhi. You're not stashing all these players. So the IL plus is the only one you need right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something we have to change and something really we have to do.
And even if it's a daily tomorrow thing, you could still at least easily switch them back if you have multiple players who are IL plus eligible.
Yes, correct.
Right? So that's another plus factor there. Like you said, OG also returned, played well. I really haven't really seen any OG. I think every OG has been picked up. Obviously, Chris Paul won't be available there. I think the first news that came out when he was about to return, he was expected to return earlier. Everyone just picked him up. Paul George is pretty much a drop. I think the news is he might come back, but most likely in the playoffs already.
Actually, the news there's a news that he's going to practice. He's been cleared for practice. But of course, this is the Clippers. That's the problem with the Clippers. They're kind of weird with news, with the giving out of news. Actually, there's another news that Marcus Morris and Reggie Jackson are now in minutes restrictions. So they'll be at 24 or 25 minutes from now on. So I don't know if they're gonna bring Paul George back, and if they bring Paul George back, he might also be in minutes restrictions. So yeah, this is messy. The Paul George situation is messy. But if you have an IL, like as we said, you keep him. You keep Paul George there in the IL for the meantime.
Yeah, I've seen lots of Paul George in the waiver wire. So if you want to make a move on him, maybe if obviously if you're in the finals now, that's useless. It's going to be useless. If you're in the semis, I think it's still a useless move to pick him up. I think
so too.
The only time you pick him up is when you're in the quarters. At least you have 2 weeks. Worst case, he might play. Best case, he might play finals week, right? So
that's true.
That's one thing. That's the Paul George news. The bad news, though, is for Ja Morant owners who will be out 2 weeks. So that pretty much ends the fantasy season for Ja.
He's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. So they didn't say he's going to come back in 2 weeks. I believe they're going to... It's 2 weeks, so that would be week 24. So that's it. That's it for him. I don't think he's going to come back for a full week. At most 1 game, 2 games just to get his bearings back before the playoffs. So he's a drop. He's a drop right now.
Yeah, and in case, other managers haven't picked up Tyus Jones or the Anthony Melton, they are the guys to pick up here. They should have been picked up earlier this week to maximize that back-to-back set. They just had to do.
The key there is that they're not streamers. Tyus Jones is not a streamer anymore. Melton is not a streamer. He's a hold. And I do see Tyus Jones available in some leagues because managers in a daily tomorrow setting might have dropped him after, So maybe there are Tyus Jones there and you can pick him up. Pick him up.
But I guess the biggest beneficiary in this news is really not Tyus Jones and Anthony Melton. It's Desmond Bane.
Yeah.
2 straight great games. He seems to be the go-to guy now in Memphis. And everyone's Memphis everyone in Memphis is playing really well.
Steven
the
Adams.
worry I have is the rest. They rested Brandon Clark today. I'm not sure if they're gonna rest. They've clinched the playoffs already, so all they are going for is the number 2 seed, because I think the Suns have clinched the home court advantage. So
Yes.
so resting among the Memphis guys might happen in the next few days, per weeks.
Could be they're deep also. They're very deep team. They've won. They've been winning without Ja. They've been winning without whoever is resting. They've been winning. Dillon Brooks. I guess Dillon Brooks for sure won't play back-to-backs. That's for sure.
Yeah, he didn't play today, so that's a sign already.
I do believe Desmond Bain will not be rested. He's young. He's a sophomore. I think he's okay. Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams, those guys might have rest days. Adams has already rested before. So those are the guys who are in danger.
So that's Giannis is also out. This is big because a lot of our fantasy FBW leagues players in the finals have Giannis as their top guy. Even in our league, one of our managers' friends had Giannis as his top guy, and I was talking to you about maybe that was the better matchup to get this week, because the opponent I have is just loaded and have been really making great moves. So Giannis is out. I'm not sure if he's gonna miss more games.
The news with Bud, the story there, he was interviewed. Chris Middleton, he said probable to play in the next game. They have a 3-game road trip coming up, and they said Chris Middleton will go in that road trip. He's going to play most likely, unless something happens. Giannis, they're gonna evaluate.
What's
just
Giannis'
before
injury? Knee
injury. The knee. But I think he also has a wrist issue. But it's more of the knee, and it's he's banged up. They're sore and everything. So they said before they travel to their first stop, they would evaluate if they're gonna bring him along. So if they decide not to bring him along, that's 3 games already. Unless he joins them midway. But in a short 3-game road trip, they might just decide to let him, not play all the games there, which extends to week 23, of course. So we're not saying he's out already. He might play the next game, but there is a possibility, given this statement by Bud, that they could do this thing. They could
rest him or preserve him until the playoffs, because this is Milwaukee and they know what they can do. So most likely they will just prepare for the playoffs right now and see what happens there. But Pat Connaughton is still an ad in case he was dropped. Brook Lopez, in case no one's picking you up. If you need the blocks, some threes, both guys can shoot threes, some rebounding, those guys. It also helps Bobby Portis's value a bit.
A little, yes. Finally.
Right? So today he had a double-double. Unfortunately, he didn't have any defensive stocks, but I'll take the double-double.
If Portis was dropped, I'm sure a lot of people dropped him after the Brolo.
He's not a regrettable drop, I guess.
But you can add him back now. I mean, you can stream him for the next game at least. Just see if Giannis plays or something.
By this time, the only reason why you'll regret dropping Bobby Portis is if you needed that 12 rebounds that he had today. But if you don't need that, then that's it's okay. It was okay to drop him. Brogdon,
I think he's out for the season. That seems he's missed 4 straight games due to rest. And it's funny, Yahoo's blurb talking about Brogdon out, Chet Holmgren sweepstakes and all those things. But Indiana played only 9 players today. So
it got really more
really bad. And Isaiah Jackson, as we said, I think he might be out a while. Jalen Smith, I think, will be back the next game. He's already with the team. I don't know why they didn't play him. I'm irritated why they didn't play Jalen Smith, because he was actually the injury was illness, and he was with the team and already shooting and warming up, and then I don't know, the tankathon or whatever.
But in case these players are available, Tyrell Taylor, Justin Anderson, for sure they could be available.
Yes.
I'm glad I picked up Tyrell Taylor in an 18-team league for today's game.
Good game.
O'Shea Brissett might not be
Brissett.
available, but yeah,
Yeah.
in case he is,
Brissett.
then he should be a good.
Lance Stephenson, actually. Lance is in our buy list. Lance Stephenson, but again, it depends on who plays, who doesn't. For all we know, given how unpredictable this NBA season is, Malcolm Brogdon suddenly plays the next game. So I don't know, but if they continue, if our prediction is true and Malcolm Brogdon is not gonna come back anymore, Lance Stephenson maybe with only 9 or 10 players, he could also, get some good games here or there. Like today, 25 points, like 2 rebounds, 2 assists.
Yeah.
That's not bad for someone.
Well, it was. It would have been garbage points.
Yeah, it was
'cause
garbage
it was
points.
over by the third quarter. Actually, by the half.
By the
it was
first
pretty
quarter,
much-
I think.
by the half, it was pretty much over. So yeah, Lamar Stevens and Isaac Okoro are probably some of the ads that you would want, especially towards the end of the week. And
They have
a
5
five.
games.
Yeah, they have a 5-game week next week. So in case you are in your semis or finals, then next week they might be the players. They might be your game-changing players, and they could be a good one add thing. Like you just add them this week and don't drop them anymore. I think that should be fine.
I pity you if you play a team with Garland and Mobley next week. I mean, that's gonna be hell. That's gonna be hell. Especially if they play all 5 games. Right?
Yeah. I'm excited to have a team with Garland, the team where I lost Steph.
Yeah.
And a bunch of my guys played well today. It's just that I have another team. I had Jarrett Allen there. It's just sad that I won't be able to use him.
Actually,
it would have been useful.
I just want to comment also in the Champions League. I think if Jeremy was the one who got in, he would have had a better chance this week in the finals.
Yeah, right. My players played well this week.
Exactly. And I'm saying it's really timing. It's just a click of the button. What if we decide to make it week 21 to 23 instead of week 20 to 22 as the playoffs? Then Jeremy, this would have been the semis, and Jeremy would have won this semis round, and he could have been in the final. So fantasy sometimes is very fickle.
But since you mentioned that, I'm pretty sure a lot of managers would be thinking, what would have been, looking back, what would have been the best setting? Was it the week 19, 20 to 21 setting? I think that's the best one. The
I think
earliest
19 to 21. 19 to 21.
Right. I guess it's always a matter of perspective, right? If you're losing at this point, you will feel that, we should have had the playoffs earlier, but if you're the underdog and you've been winning.
What's your answer anyway? 19 to 21 or 20 to 21?
Yeah, I think 19 to 21, there have been very few rests. There were some rests on the last week 21, but not as bad as this one. Like this week alone, how many named players got to rest, right? So
I'll answer that, and I know that a lot of experts like Josh Lloyd, for instance, Josh Lloyd has actually been saying that it should be earlier, even the 19 to 21. I think his playoffs ends mid-March or something. His team, his season, his leagues that he organizes, he ends it very early. For me, I agree 19 to 21, but I always put it at 21 to 23 or 20 to 22 because I just want to play more. Just want to play longer. So that's my selfishness. It's like your brain and your heart. Like my brain knows this is the best thing to do, but my heart is like, if I end it too early, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do for 4 weeks or more?
That's why you should have a lot of leagues with different.
Well, yeah, I guess you could do that. That's why I put the invitationals at 21 to 23. Actually, I knew that everything else is 20 to 22. I decided to make it 21 to 23 because I'm excited for that league. It's a league of experts and industry people. So I said I wanted to make this longer. I wanted to make it, a complete season so that we can all enjoy it. So that was a selfish decision. But if you're asking brain wise, what is the right choice? I think 19 to 21 is the better one. Yeah.
Next year we'll learn from this, and next year we'll get a few. We'll change a few settings in a bunch of our leagues. All right. So yeah. Jose Alvarado, just running through all those waiver wire players. Jose Alvarado is another player. I pick him up. They have a back-to-back, right?
Did you pick him up in the league that you're in our league? Yeah, that's a good pickup. I was just gonna say because you're after.
They have a back-to-back, right? So I've been
they have a
confused
back-to-back.
about the dates already. I didn't want to make a
Yes.
mistake, but I
Yes.
saw it looks like they have a back-to-back on a Sunday and a Monday. So
Yep. Correct.
So I just picked him up, and luckily he is still available. Hopefully he gives me like 6 steals.
6
in those
steals is
2 games,
possible. Yes.
right? Because he had 3. Today the players I picked up didn't get any steals. So Grayson Allen is another player. If you need threes, Abiha and Neto.
Yeah.
They are okay. You can stream them, as they can give you across the board numbers, particularly for Neto, the assist and some scoring, for Abiha, some scoring, threes, some defensive stocks. Highland is probably not available, but in case he is in a shallow league, yes,
just to mention, we also put some updates on the week 22 schedule, the later part. I have the back-to-backs and the 3 games, 4 days teams. Just to mention some of the ads from there. I think Miami has a back-to-back, right? So Jeremy will hate this, but tomorrow Miami is already down to, I think 6 players are questionable. Hero, Butler, Duncan Robinson, PJ Tucker. And usually when these things happen, you know what's up. The team is probably gonna just rest the players in this first half. So if you are like Jeremy and you own Jimmy Butler, not looking good.
You own Jimmy Butler, and what makes this worse is that I wasn't able to play him in the first day. I mean, I wouldn't mind him resting today, but if you look resting for tomorrow, but if you look back and realize that, and he was 11 out of 11 from the free throw, those stats I need. I would have been leading in assists if I played him. The steals wouldn't be that far, right? So lots of things that game changing things.
I just wanted to mention that because I knew Jeremy is irritated with it. I just want to remind him about it so that he'll never do the same mistake again. But Miami, I just mentioned it also because the streaming. Duncan, PJ, I think Gabe Vincent is also out. Actually, Gabe Vincent is also out for tomorrow. So who's left? Max Truss?
Caleb.
I think Caleb is questionable also. So I'm sure
but at
Lowry
least Bam's playing.
Lowry, Bam, Yurtseven, Max Truss, and then the high tower guy, and then some other players. Very few players left. If you're in a day-to-day setting, wait until the last minute who is cleared. If the others questionable are all out, Max Truss might have a big game tomorrow for 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Right? Kyle Lowry should have a big game.
Who are they against tomorrow?
New York. And New York is also a lot of questionable guys. Mitch Robinson, Julius Randle. So, that's going to be a funky game.
Okay, so I hope Mitch Robinson plays because I need him in one league.
He's questionable, and that's
why he rested the last game. So I think, I'm just hoping that rest, was just a one-time thing, and that was just a rest. So
if not, Jericho Sims started the last game. So another player to consider.
Also, another reason why I'm hoping Mitch Robinson plays is because my opponent in our league got Obi Toppin. So at least if Mitch Robinson plays, that lessens the usage of Toppin. So we'll see what happens. I'm not giving up. So the thing with the playoffs is that you don't give up too early. Just fight until the very end and see what happens. Besides, if you lose, you lose. Your season's over. At least you did everything you can. All right, so that's it for our daily fantasy quickie today. Good luck for the next 3 days, last 3 days of the week 20. What week is it? 22.
Week 22.
Week 22, and tomorrow we'll talk about the week 23 schedule in our quickie. So watch out for that. Right? We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.